Working 24 hours to save the economy. Ghana launches a new policy that extends economic activity beyond conventional hours in various industries.
Gusi Tano, presidential advisor on Ghana's 24-hour economy policy, announced that the program is set to launch on July 2, 2025.
A country that never sleeps. That's what Ghana envisions with its bold new strategy to transform the economy and create 2 million jobs. But this isn't about working harder. It's about working smarter. Around the clock, every sector, every shift, and it starts now. Redefining economic growth. At the core of Ghana's new development blueprint lies an ambitious $4 billion plan, a 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program, known simply as 24H+. President John Dramani Mahama is betting on time itself as the new frontier for economic transformation. This strategy isn't about keeping shops open late. It's about maximizing national productivity across all hours of the day and night, unlocking the economic value of time that often slips through the cracks. The stakes are clear. Over 1.5 million young Ghanaians, 15% of the youth population, are unemployed. Job creation has not kept pace with economic growth. In the 1990s, a 10% GDP growth rate would result in 7% job growth. Now, it barely delivers 2%. That imbalance has left Ghana with rising frustration, stagnant employment, and an economy too reliant on raw exports and foreign markets. Mahama's vision is simple, yet radical. Restructure Ghana's economy to operate 24/7, supercharging sectors like manufacturing, agriculture, and logistics, while also enabling public services, creative industries, and tourism to tap into every hour of opportunity. Over the next 4 years, the 24H+ program aims to generate 1.7 million to 2 million decent jobs using a mix of public investment, private partnerships, and performance-driven incentives. The blueprint behind the clock. The financial structure behind the 24H+ initiative is deliberately strategic. The government has committed $300 million to $400 million in seed capital, which will be used to close viability gaps in major infrastructure and productivity projects. This funding is expected to catalyze $2 billion or more in private investment. Presidential advisor Augustus Gusi Tano, who is leading the charge behind the scenes, explains that Ghana is intentionally creating a bankable, investor-ready framework. The 24-hour plus program isn't just a wish list. It's being designed as a commercially attractive model with built-in profitability and long-term scalability. That's why the government has created incentives for businesses ready to run 24-hour operations. These include tax rebates of up to 50%, import duty waivers for raw materials and machinery, and concessional loans via a new Strategic Value Chain Development Fund. Companies operating overnight between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. could also benefit from discounted electricity tariffs, and exporters will enjoy performance-based support. But a strategy of this scale can't just throw money at problems. It must build a cohesive economy, one that operates on integration, productivity, and competitiveness. And this is where the real engine of the 24H+ program begins in 8 interlinked sub-programs, each targeting a major transformation area. Among them, none is more crucial than Grow 24. Grow 24, a 24-hour agricultural awakening. For decades, Ghana has had the land, climate, and tradition to feed itself and much of West Africa. But the truth on the ground tells a different story. Despite this potential, Ghana spends over $2 billion annually on food imports. More than 30% of local harvests go to waste post-harvest. Only 5% of Ghana's arable land is irrigated, and the majority of the country's smallholder farmers operate without mechanization, access to credit, or formal market linkages. Grow 24, one of the 8 pillars of the 24H+ agenda, is about fixing this imbalance at scale and forever. It targets Ghana's most vulnerable but highest potential sector, agriculture. The goal? Turn Ghana into a food-secure, self-reliant, export-ready powerhouse while creating tens of thousands of jobs, reducing inflation, and lifting rural communities out of generational poverty. Honorable Eric Opoku, Ghana's Minister for Food and Agriculture, couldn't be clearer. We cannot even think about transforming Ghana if we don't put the right focus on agriculture. We cannot succeed at anything if we do not first put food on the table at an affordable cost for our people. Eden Volta, the dream project of Ghana's breadbasket. At the heart of Grow24 is a transformational venture called the Eden Volta breadbasket project. Located in the Volta Basin, this project plans to develop over 2 million hectares of land into high-yield, climate-resilient farms using modern irrigation and smart agroecological methods. With the support of integrated agroecological parks and large-scale anchor farmers, Eden Volta aims to boost yields on key staple crops by up to 130%. These aren't theoretical projections, they are based on field data and proven productivity models in similar tropical agrarian economies. Eden Volta also brings advanced processing facilities closer to the farm, enabling value addition on site. This means better prices for farmers, more stable supply chains, and jobs created not just on the field, but in logistics, packaging, processing, and distribution. The entire model is being built with ecological principles in mind: water conservation, biodiversity, and regenerative practices that can weather climate volatility. Shikpon, urban farming gets smart. While Eden Volta serves Ghana's rural transformation goals, the Shikpon urban and peri-urban farming revolution brings fresh food production right to the city's edge. The concept is as modern as it is necessary. As urban populations grow, cities like Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale will need constant access to nutritious, affordable produce. Shikpon proposes the development of 3 to 5 hectare farming clusters around each metropolitan region, using greenhouses, micro-irrigation, and precision agriculture to grow high-demand vegetables. These farms will operate year-round and supply directly to city markets, restaurants, and export distributors. What's unique about Shikpon is its focus on youth cooperatives and agripreneurs. By empowering Ghana's younger generation with training, digital tools, and access to cold chain logistics, Shikpon is building a new wave of job creators, not just job seekers. The farms will also be tied into digital marketplaces, ensuring that pricing, access, and inventory move with the speed of Ghana's growing digital economy. This closes the gap between farm and fork-cutting waste, boosting profits and building food resilience in cities that often depend heavily on imports. The Netherlands in Ghana's farming future. One of the strongest international backers of Grow24 is the Netherlands. Long recognized for their global leadership in smart farming, Dutch agricultural companies and public institutions are partnering with Ghana to bring technical know-how and capital investment to the field. This includes expertise in greenhouse development, seed systems, soil testing, water management, and sustainable supply chain logistics. Ghana's Ministry of Food and Agriculture has already developed deep institutional ties with Dutch agencies, ensuring capacity building and long-term sustainability of the projects. Whether it's building peri-urban greenhouses, refining cold chain logistics, or training a new generation of agronomists, the Dutch collaboration is central to the success of Grow24's long-term vision, fixing Ghana's economic foundations. But bold ideas need firm ground. Dr. Andrews Ayiku, a prominent economic analyst, has pointed out that without structural reform, the 24H+ initiative risks stalling. Ghana's economy still suffers from deep vulnerabilities: chronic energy shortages, poor transportation infrastructure, rising inflation, and weak fiscal controls. For the 24-hour economy to truly take off, the government must first ensure energy reliability. Frequent blackouts, known locally as dumps, or cripple manufacturing, disrupt services, and discourage foreign investment. Increasing renewable energy adoption, especially solar for irrigation and storage, is already showing promise through programs like USAID's solar-powered irrigation systems. Simultaneously, transport and digital infrastructure must be improved. Efficient roadways and 24-hour public transport are necessary to move workers and goods, especially during night shifts. Digital platforms, from secure mobile money to broadband networks, are essential to power e-commerce, logistics, and administrative efficiency. The government is also being urged to reform labor laws. Ghana's current labor code doesn't fully accommodate shift work, nighttime employment, or the protections needed for a 24-hour workforce. Updating Labor Act 651 to ensure fair wages, overtime pay, and safe conditions is critical to attracting and retaining workers across all sectors, building safety and confidence for investors. There's also the matter of security. As nighttime operations expand, so do risks. Investors want to know that their staff, goods, and operations are safe, particularly in industrial zones or urban centers. The government is responding with plans to increase police patrols, upgrade surveillance systems, and encourage public-private security partnerships. These steps are vital not just for business, but for community stability as Ghana pushes into new economic territory. Investor confidence is also tied to macroeconomic stability. Ghana's economy has been under pressure due to external debt burdens and commodity price swings. The $3 billion IMF Extended Credit Facility aims to bring discipline back to fiscal management. Meanwhile, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act is pushing new frameworks to attract high-value FDI and reduce dependence on volatile primary exports like gold, cocoa, and oil. How competition law supports digital markets and e-commerce growth. The future of Ghana's economy won't just be built in factories or farms, it'll be built online. Digital platforms, mobile commerce, and logistics apps are all reshaping how goods and services are bought and sold. But this space, too, needs the protection of competition law. In digital markets, a few dominant platforms can easily abuse their power. They might manipulate search algorithms, impose unfair fees on sellers, or block competitors from accessing their networks. Without clear legal guardrails, Ghana's digital economy could end up in the hands of just a few powerful players. That's where competition law steps in. It can prevent large e-commerce platforms from using their size to crush new startups. It can ensure fair access for delivery services, financial apps, and cloud computing providers. If 24 Hours Plus envisions a modern Ghana operating across all hours, including online, then a strong legal framework must also apply to digital players. This is especially urgent in rural areas, where mobile phones may be the only link to new markets. If big platforms block small rural sellers or charge them predatory fees, digital inclusion will fail. With proper enforcement, Ghana can foster an e-commerce space where small businesses thrive, prices remain fair, and customers have real choices. Tackling inflation and protecting consumers. Another overlooked benefit of competition law is its role in controlling inflation, especially inflation caused by collusion or supply manipulation. While many factors influence rising prices, fuel costs, global trade, currency swings, anti-competitive practices can make it worse. For example, cartels in the cement, rice, or poultry industries may collectively agree not to drop prices, even when their input costs fall. This has already been observed when certain companies refuse to lower prices despite the Ghanaian cedi appreciating against the dollar. This kind of price fixing directly harms consumers and undermines trust in the system. If Ghana had a fully functional competition authority, such practices could be investigated and punished. The law would act as a deterrent. Knowing that collusion or market abuse carries legal risk would make companies think twice. Even more importantly, consumers would be empowered. Many competition laws globally include a complaints mechanism where consumers can report unfair market practices. Ghanaian citizens should not be at the mercy of unregulated cartels or unchecked monopolies. Whether it's telecom fees, imported food prices, or cement costs, competition law creates the framework to challenge abuses. This also builds economic resilience. If the public knows prices are set by supply and demand, not backroom deals, then inflation expectations remain stable. Investors also gain confidence in the integrity of the market. Will Grow 24 work, and can it last? If implemented correctly, Grow 24 could redefine Ghana's role in both regional and global agricultural trade. It could eliminate the country's dependence on food imports, stabilize prices for working families, and turn farming into a respected, modern profession. But more than that, it lays the groundwork for a resilient and inclusive economy, where rural youth can become entrepreneurs, where cities can feed themselves sustainably, and where Ghana can finally say it is in control of its food systems and industrial future. The 24-hour economy may sound like a futuristic slogan, but beneath the vision is a serious economic plan, backed by clear data, hard numbers, and growing partnerships. As the clock ticks, Ghana isn't just keeping time, it's using time to create opportunity. Would this plan work in your country? Can a 24-hour economy really change the game for youth and industry alike? Let us know what you think in the comments, and stay tuned for more stories of how nations are rethinking the future.